Dungeons and Dragons. Released in 1974, this was a whole new genre of game. The players create a character with their own personalities, history, and goals. Led by one player, the Dungeon Master, these characters embark upon dangerous quests, rolling dice to determine their successes and failures. Based in a Tolkien-esque fantasy universe, D&D contains many elements that some groups consider taboo, such as angels, devils, monsters, magic, and murder.
My name is Shirley Rizza, and I grew up in the 1970s, 1980s. My first memory really of Dungeons and Dragons was the interest my brother had, and I think that they were actually playing it in a club after school. I grew up in a Christian household from a very young age. I was told a bit about the Bible. I was given a lovely Bible with illustrations for children. We also read passages in the Bible at my small, very strict village school. And I did a lot of preparation at home and actually enjoyed that because I felt I could deliver it quite well. Always very supported by my parents, and I was aware that some other children didn't actually have a Bible in their house, which really surprised me.
In the 1980s, fundamentalist Christian Jack T. Chick released a comic called Darkest Dungeons. This comic depicts two girls, Marcy and Debbie, who play D&D. Following the death of Marcy's character Blackleaf, the girl commits suicide. Her friend Debbie discovers the body, along with a note reading, "It's my fault Blackleaf died. I can't face life alone." Debbie then joins up with a Christian church group who banish the evil spirits she attracted by playing D&D.
When I was in my early 20s, I found a boyfriend who soon became my husband, and one of the main things we had in common was we both went to church, we both had a strong faith, and I found out pretty quickly he was very interested in Dungeons and Dragons. I remember when my husband was relaying some of the details of the game, Ravensloft, something like that, but all the different places, the sort of fantasy role, but you know, you could picture it. And he hadn't shown forgiveness, and I think someone had to die, and I thought, oh, that's a really bad character flaw, and was a bit put out with him. But then I had to remember, no, this actually is just the role, that was his character. That doesn't mean that would happen in real life. So there is a slight merge, I suppose, if you're spending so much time, you're questioning things and creating a very realistic realm, and then spending its length of time doing it. So it becomes very intense.
Over the years, D&D has also been unjustly connected to multiple deaths, victim to an anti-occult group, and the subject of a propaganda film starring a young Tom Hanks.
When I found out that actually there seems to be a following in America that somehow the playing of Dungeons and Dragons, engaging in it or having anything to do with it, goes against Christianity, I cannot see any line there at all. I don't understand that point of view. I can't understand why Christians would feel threatened by elves, dwarves, magical trees, magical forests, things like that. Is it perhaps that they are threatened because, in other words, you are creating a huge realm, a different place, when you are in character, and maybe they're not comfortable, some people comfortable enough because in fact their faith isn't strong enough, and it may be almost like envy. But the satanic and the looking for the evil in things, that would rule out pantomime, that would rule out anything where you are using your imagination and creativity. So it just seems bizarre.
As you know, we're gathered here today to make a sacrifice. These things have to happen sometimes in our line of work.
I am prepared.
You brought the cheese and stuff, yeah?
Yeah,
Snacks.
I haven't eaten bananas.
Sweet. I'm sorry for your death.
It happens.
So let's dig in, yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Straight in. Oh, yes, please.
As you can see, D&D really isn't meant to be taken too seriously. Sure, you get invested and let reality slip away for a few hours, but the same thing happens when you watch a good film or read a good book.
Growing up and right to present time now, I can't see anything negative about it at all, getting people to be creative, using their imagination and doing something that doesn't hurt anybody. I've always thought of it as something very nice for people to be taking part in and enjoying and bringing people together. I mean, they always go on about how men particularly bond over football and find it hard to talk to each other about other things, but I think in this you can transcend that.
On the surface, Dungeons & Dragons is about rolling dice and killing monsters. But at its core, D&D is really about socializing, making jokes, making friends, making memories. And what could be so wrong with that?
So, gentlemen, from where we left off, you're in a fight with a bear scarn and a dragon. It's time for initiative.
Alright, let's do this.
God, they're on my
19.
side.
Oh,
4.
yes.
17.
So I believe that'll be
You are up first.
Alright.
Dragon, correct?
The dragon, yes. It looks blue. Perhaps maybe a water drink. I would like to use it.
You think so, yeah?